Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am just Mike. You are listening to episode number 54 of the Rock Out Wild Show, where it is not just a show, it is a way of life. Now, if you haven't done so yet, and if you are new to this channel, and if you are new to this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this very episode of the Rock Out Wild Show. You can also like or dislike this episode as well. You can rate it and share this video all across of your social media platforms, from your Facebook, your X, your Instagram, whatever social media you use. Share it there and tell everyone what the Rock Out Wild Show is all about, from your family to your friends to your coworkers to your acquaintances. Tell everyone about the Rock Out Wild Show. I am your host, just Mike, and as you see from the title of this very episode, I will be ranking my top 10 favorite YouTube channels of the year 2025. Now we are a few weeks past due of 2025, so I think it is the right time to do this type of episode right here. And I'm doing this as a little bit of a twist. Now, last year I done my top 10 favorite YouTubers of 2024, which is a little bit different than YouTube channels because they're not really necessarily the same. So the gloves are off with this. I can put in any YouTube channel on this list, but I have 10 favorites and I have some honorable mentions as well. Also, we're going to take a look at on this day in the world of sports, wrestling, music, film, and television in that order. And to kick off this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show, I will be reacting to my old movie review, a movie called Wild Card, starring Jason Statham. The first thing I'm going to do is turn on the webcam for you all and say hi to everyone watching this right now. I have my shirt ready to go. I have the Rock on Wild shirt on, and I'm ready to record, baby. So let's do this. I'm going to present, share screen, make sure the audio is on, make sure the right tab is on. Perfect. Let's go full screen with this. I got the audio on, and I got the headphones on. And this reacts to my old movie review for Wildcard, starring Jason Statham. And before I get into my reaction to this movie review, let's predict the amount of points I'm going to give it. My guess will be a 67 out of 100. But what did I actually give it? Let's react in 3, 2, 1, action.
Well, yeah, Jason Statham is going to kick some ass in the Jason Statham action movie. It'd be weird if he doesn't. But this one actually might surprise you. Hey, what is up, all movie fans in the movieverse? Welcome to the Mike McRock Movie Review Show. Right now, I'm going to review a movie called Wild Card, and Wild Card is about a Las Vegas bodyguard who has lethal, deadly skills. He's a bodyguard for hire, and he's your go-to guy to solve your problems. And he also has a real heavy gambling problems as well. Okay. And this movie stars Jason Statham as Nick Wilde, and I like this character of Nick Wilde, and I like Jason Statham is not doing a lot of fighting in this movie. There's a total of 3 fighting scenes that come across as really quick and really finish really quickly, much like the movie itself, which I will get to later on. But going back to the character of Nick Wilde, played by Jason Statham, I like in this movie that he's doing more acting and less fighting, just to showcase some dramatic acting chops as well. I think he delivered for the most part, and I like how he deals with his gambling problems and the way he acts in those moments when he's really frustrated that he lost money and stuff like that. So I really like what he does. as a to a character standpoint while he's acting. The problem is that this movie dives into his gambling issues way too late in the movie, because the
Right.
first 45 minutes there's a bit of a revenge story going on where he helps a friend deal with some mobsters, and that all ties into what happens at the end of the movie as well. Also, in this movie, you had a supporting cast and names like Hope Davis, Stanley Tucci,
No.
Jason Alexander, even Sofia Vergara, and I
Sofia
think
Vergara.
that they weren't in the movie enough. Hardly. Stanley Tucci was only in the movie for a scene and a half, but they established that he is important in the movie. It almost feels like this movie wasted a lot of talent, a really good supporting cast. If you see this movie written on paper and who's in it, you think, oh, these people are in it, so this
Yeah.
should be good.
Right.
But it turns out that these people weren't in the movie enough, and to me, that was a really disappointing aspect in the movie. And another thing that kind of let me down was the pacing. There were some pacing issues, and the movie was 9 minutes long,
Oh,
and
really?
I feel like this movie really rushed it. It almost feels like this movie felt really, really short, in a good
Mm-hmm.
15 or 20 minutes was gone out of the movie and was nowhere to be seen. Even though, with that said, there was one supporting cast member who I thought was pretty good. Uh, he was the comic relief guy. His name is Cyrus, and the way he bounced back and forth with Jason Statham was pretty good. That was a redeeming quality. So was Jason Statham. I mean, Jason Statham is a guy that he's really solid and really good at what he does in the movie, but there wasn't enough fighting. This was an
Right.
okay movie, and this is
Not
one of
enough
those
action.
fun and entertaining ones. So I can give this movie a fresh and a pass,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say Wildcard delivered 63
Oh,
points out of
man.
100. And if you saw this movie, what did you think about it? Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below and give me your thoughts about Wildcard. And you can also hit that subscribe button as well to get McRock.
Yeah, so that was my reaction to my own movie review for Wildcard, starring Jason Statham. I was only off by 4 points. My guess was 67. It was actually 63. I don't remember this movie all that much. And if I'm saying there's not enough action in it, then it's not all that memorable. I think this was one of those straight to digital or straight to DVD or Blu-ray type of movie. I'd never really seen this at the theater at all. So my memory is not clicking for me with this movie at all. The only thing I remember is the movie title and Jason Statham. And I mentioned the whole thing with gambling. It sort of peaks in my head, but not quite. Again, it's one of those largely forgettable movies that I'll probably never ever watch ever again. That's my take in hindsight for this movie. That was my reaction to Wildcard. Now let's get into some of the things that you expect on an episode of the Rock Out Wild Show. Let's look at on this day, and we're going to start with probably the biggest topic on this docket. Let's take a look at sports, shall we? So let's present, share screen, and let's take a look at what happened in sports in years past for January the 21st. In 1907, Stanley Cup Hockey, Montreal Arena, Westmount, Quebec. Kenora Thistles, Ontario beat Montreal Wanderers 8-6 for 12-8 Aggregate Challenge Series victory. In 1920, 14th Davis Cup, Australia's beat Great Britain in Sydney 4-1. In 1930, Boston Bruins became the first team in NHL history to score 100 goals in a season in a 5-1 win over Chicago at Boston Garden. Cooney Whelan scores Bruins' 100th goal in their 26th game of the year. In 1939, U.S. female figure skating champion won by Joan Tauser. In 1948, Three of the greats of cricket made their debut in a drawn first test match at Bridgetown, Barbados. Sir Clyde Walcott and Sir Everton Weekes for the West Indies, and Jim Laker for England. In 1954, fourth NBA All-Star Game, Madison Square Garden, New York City, East Beast West, 98-93, MVP Bob Cousy, Boston Celtics, PG. In 1954, also, first time in All-Star history, an overtime period is needed to decide a winner. Boston Celtics guard Bob Cousy's 10-point OT scoring burst gave the East a 98-93 win. Cousy wins All-Star MVP honors. In 1958, 8th NBA All-Star Game, Kiel Auditorium, St. Louis, Missouri, East Beast West, 130-118. MVP Bob Pettit, Milwaukee Hawks. In 1958 also, Phillies agreed to televise 78 games in New York City. Doesn't happen. Also in 1958, St. Louis Hawks forward Bob Pettit becomes first member of the losing team to win the NBA All-Star MVP award, scores 28 points and grabs 26 rebounds, even though East beats West 130-118. In 1967, 6th AFL All-Star Game, LA Memorial Coliseum, Eastern Division beats Western Division 30-23. MVPs Babe Pirelli, Boston Patriots quarterback Verlin Biggs, and New York Jets Denmark or DE. In 1967 also, U.S. Female Figure Skating Championship won by Peggy Fleming. In 1968, 18th NFL Pro Bowl, LA Memorial Coliseum, West beats East 38-20. MVPs Gale Sayers, Chicago Bears, HB David Robinson, Green Bay Packers, Detroit. In 1968, 7th AFL All-Star Game, Gator Powell, Jacksonville. Eastern Division beats Western Division 25-24. MVPs Joe Namath, New York Jets quarterback Don Maynard, New York Jets F. Speedy Duncan, LA Chargers, DBKR. In 1969, 22nd NHL All-Star Game, Montreal Forum Western Division ties Eastern Division 33-3. MVP Frank Machovic, Detroit LW. In 1973, 23rd NFL Pro Bowl, Texas Stadium, Irving, Texas. AFC beats NFC 33-28. MVP, the one, the only, if the glove fits, O.J. Simpson, Buffalo Bills, RB. In 1975, 28th NHL All-Star Game, Montreal Forum. Wales Conference beats Campbell Conference 7-1. MVP, Sile Apps Jr., Pittsburgh. In 1978, Panamanian boxer Robert Duran becomes undisputed world lightweight champion with a 12th round KO of Esteban de Jesus at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Defends his WBA title for a 12th time, also takes Jesus WBC title. In 1979, Super Bowl XIII, Miami Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida. Pittsburgh Steelers beats Dallas Cowboys 35-31. MVP Terry Bradshaw, Pittsburgh quarterback. In 1980, Lee Henson, Virginia Tech makes 89-3 basketball field goal. In 1982, New York Islanders begin the NHL record 15-game winning streak with a 6-1 win over Pittsburgh Penguins at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. In 1984, U.S. Men's Figure Skating Championship won by Scott Hamilton. In 1985, Dennis Potvin ties Bobby Orr's career record of 270 NHL goals. In 1986, 100 participate in nude Olympic race in 38 degrees Fahrenheit in India. Nude. Interesting. Also in 1986, Czech tennis star Ivan Lendl defeats Boris Becker of Germany 6-2, 7-6, and 6-3 to claim the season-ending ATP Masters Grand Prix title for a third time at Madison Square Garden, New York City. Sorry if my voice is cracking. I was actually choking a little bit shoveling snow earlier. In 1989, a woman is assaulted and raped in room of an Oklahoma football player. In 1989, also Wayne Gretzky passes Marcel Dion to become NHL's second all-time scorer. I was actually wondering where Wayne Gretzky actually beat that record. I was actually wondering. Now I know, and now I know. In 1990, 31st NHL All-Star Game, Civic Arena, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Wells beats Campbell 12-7. MVP, great Canadian NHL player Mario Lemieux of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Also in 1990, Bob Goodenow succeeds Alan Eagleson as NHL Players Association Executive Director. Also in 1990, John McEnroe becomes the first player to be expelled from the Australian Open. In 1991, Sacramento's Dick Motta coaches is in his 1,648th regular season game, a 97-94 victory over Houston. At the time, an NBA record for the most regular season coaching appearances. In 1992, Bill Cowher becomes the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, becoming only the second head coach of the team since 1970, Chuck Noll. In 1994, Dallas Mavericks suffer 19th straight loss at Reunion Arena 91-87 to the Seattle Supersonics, extends an unwanted NBA record for the most consecutive home defeats. In 2001, Pittsburgh Penguins beat Chicago Blackhawks 4-0 in first ever NHL game featuring two European trained coaches, Czech Ivan Hinka behind the bench for Pittsburgh and Finn Alpo Sohen Chicago. In 2004, Minnesota Wild set an NHL record of 4-2 fastest goals when Jim Dowd and Richard Park scored just 3 seconds apart in the final 15 seconds of a 4-2 win over visiting Chicago Blackhawks. In 2007, AFC Championship, RCA Dome, Indianapolis, Indiana. Colts beat New England Patriots 38-34. Also in 2007, NFC Championship, Soldier Field, Chicago. Chicago Bears beat New Orleans Saints 39-14. In 2010, LA Lakers forward Kobe Bryant becomes the youngest NBA player to reach 25,000 career points at 31 years, 151 days. Beats Wilt Chamberlain by 35 days. God rest you, Kobe. God rest you. In 2017, Adam Hadwin fires only the 7th sub-60 round in PGA Tour history in the 3rd round of the Career Builder Challenge at La Quinza CC. In 2018, AFC Championship, Gillette Stadium, Foxborough New England Patriots beat Jacksonville Jaguars 24-20. Also in 2018, NFC Championship, in Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia Eagles beat Minnesota Vikings 38-7. In 2019, a light aircraft carrying EPL team Cardiff City's records signing Emiliano Salsa of French club FC Nantes disappears near the Channel Islands en route to Wales. Also in 2019, Golden State guard Klay Thompson sets an NBA record by making his first 10 attempts from three-point range as the Warriors beat the LA Lakers 130-111 Thompson scores 44 points. Also in 2019, Lana of China becomes the first Asian player to be elected of the International Tennis Hall of Fame, joined Russian Yevgeny Kafelikov and Mary Pierce of France as class of 2019 inductees. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that last name right. I try my best at that. In 2024, Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions secure a divisional playoff win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then also in 2024, Tara Van Duvier becomes winningest college basketball coach with 1.203 third victory as Stanford University defeats visiting Oregon State Beavers 65-56. Those are all the things that happened in the world of sports in years past for January the 21st. Now let's take a look at what happened on this day in the world of professional wrestling for January the 21st. Here we have a picture of the Rattlesnake himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's see what happened in the 21st of January in years past. In 1985, the U.S. Express, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda defeat Andrew Adonis and Dick Murdoch in Hartford, Connecticut to win the WWF Tag Team Championship. Also in 1985, wrestler and promoter Eddie Graham passed away at the age of 55. The cause of death was suicide. He was most well known as promoter of Championship Wrestling from Florida. In 1990, the second Royal Rumble pay-per-view took place at the Orlando Arena in Orlando, Florida. In the main event, Hulk Hogan eliminated Mr. Perfect to win the 30-man Royal Rumble match. In 1991, longtime promoter Nick Aldis died at the age of 76 in Nashville, Tennessee. In 1992, WCW Clash of the Champions XVII took place in Topeka, Kansas. The main event saw Ricky Steamboat and Sting defeat Rick Rude and Steve Austin. In 1996, the WWE Royal Rumble took place at the Cylinder Arena in Fresno, California. Shawn Michaels won his second consecutive Royal Rumble match when he last eliminated Diesel. In the main event for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship, The Undertaker defeated champion Bret the Hitman Hart by disqualification. In the night's only title change, Goldust became the new Intercontinental Champion with a win over Razor Ramon, a Chico. In 1997, WCW Clash of Champions 35, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You can probably correct me if I'm wrong on that. XXXIV took place at the Wisconsin Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Lex Luger beat Scott Hall by disqualification in the main event. It might be 34, I think. It's one of them. In 2001, the WWE Royal Rumble took place at the New Orleans Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. Stone Cold Steve Austin won his record-breaking third Royal Rumble match when he eliminated Kane for the victory. The match was also notable for Kane eliminating 11 men, breaking the record of 10 eliminations set by Hulk Hogan in 1989, brother. The match by Austin in 1997. The record stood until it was broken by Roman Reigns in 2014. The only title change on the card saw Chris Jericho take the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match against the Invisible Man. In 2008, Johnny Devine defeated Jay Lethal at an Impact taping to win the TNA X Division Championship. Also in 2008, Monday Night Raw on the States became the first WWE programming to ever broadcast in high definition. In 2013, WWE announced that Bob Backlund would be inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania 29 in April, and I still can't stand the guy. And in 2020, at a taping of AEW Dynamite that took place at sea aboard the cruise ship used for Chris Jericho's Rock and Ranger at sea, Pardue, Heyman Page, and Kenny Omega defeated Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian. SoCal Uncensored to become the only second ever AEW Tag Team Champions. We have some notable wrestling birthdays in the world. For January the 21st, we have Alex Kozlov, born in 1984. Maurice, a beautiful blonde, married to The Miz, was born on this day in 1983. Go Shinzuzaki, born on this day in 1982. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly. Mark Curtis was born in 1962. Ivan Putski was born in 1941. And Arnold Scalan was born on January the 21st, 1925. And those are all the events and all the things that unfold in the world of professional wrestling for January the 21st. Now let's take a look at what happened on January 21st in the world of music. As you see a picture there of Saturday Night Fever, Boogie Nights chart history. On this day in music, in January the 21st, 1978, the defining soundtrack of the disco era, Saturday Night Fever, began a 24-week run at the top of the U.S. album chart. Released in November 1977, several weeks before the John Travolta film hit theaters, the Bee Gees' led double LP spawned multiple number one hits, including Night Fever, Staying Alive, and If I Can't Have You. The record went on to win Album of the Year at the 1979 Grammy Awards and eventually sold more than 40 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling soundtrack albums of all time, second only to The Bodyguard. In 2012, Adele topped the Billboard 200 with her second studio album, 21. The LP yielded 5 hit singles, including Rolling in the Deep, Someone Like You, and Set Fire to the Rain. The monumental album has since sold more than 31 million copies worldwide. In 1968, the talents of two great artists intertwined when Jimi Hendrix and The Experience recorded their stunning version of the Bob Dylan song All Along the Watchtower. There must be some kind of way out of here. At London's Olympic Studios. Joining the band was the Rolling Stones' Brian Jones, percussion, and Traffic's Dave Masson, 12-string guitar. Now a classic rock staple, the track was released as a single in the US, where it became Hendrix's highest charting song, peaking at number 20. And in 2002, pioneering singer-songwriter and actress Peggy Lee passed away at the age of 81. With a career that spanned more than 60 years, Lee recorded more than 60 albums and 1,000 songs, including her signature hits Fever from 1958 and the Grammy-winning Is That All There Is from 1969. The hugely influential and versatile artist was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1999 and received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 95 Grammys. We have some birthdays for January the 21st in the world of music. We have Wolfman Jack DJ, was born in 1938. Born in 1941, we have Richie Havens and Placido Domingo. Born in 1942, we have Edwin Starr. Born on this day, January 21st, 1950, we have Billy Ocean. Born in 1965, January the 21st, Jam Master Jay from Run DMC. We have Chris Kilmore. Incubus was born in 1973. My favorite Spice Girl, beautiful blonde, Emma Button, was born on this day, January 21st, 1976. And Benjamin Moody, who brought us back to life with Evanescence, was born on this day, January 21st, 1980. Those are all the things that happened on this day in the world of music. And for the final installment for on this day, we're going to take a look at film and television for January the 21st. In 1903, Harry Houdini escapes from Halvenmanstig police station in Amsterdam. I'm very sure I pronounced that correctly, but not quite as fast as I should. Anyway, let's move on, because this guy could pull a magic trick and make me disappear. In 1956, Victor Borg's one-man show, Comedy in Music, closes at John Golden Theater, New York City, runs for 849 performances, and Guinness World Record. In 1957, KSAT TV Channel 12 in San Antonio, Texas begins broadcasting. In 1958, KMOT TV Channel 10 in Menards and begins broadcasting. In 1961, KIFI TV Channel 8 in Idaho Falls, Idaho begins broadcasting. In 1971, Elias Smith and Jones premieres on ABC. In 1973, Leslie Nielsen appears in Ring Banger episode of television series MASH. In 1982, Shalom Temple martial artist film released first Hong Kong feature film in China, directed by Shang Hassan Yin and starring Jet Li in his debut role. In 1986, Allison J. Brown, 17 of Oklahoma, crowned fourth Miss Teen USA. In 1987, second Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, The Coasters, Eddie Cochran, Bo Diddley, Aretha Franklin, Marvin Gaye, Bill Haley, B.B. King, Clyde McPhatter, Ricky Nelson, Roy Orbison, Carl Perkins, Smokey Robinson, Joe Turner, Muddy Waters, Jackie Wilson, Louis Jordan, T-Bone Walker, Hank Williams, Leonard Chess, Ahmed Ertegun, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, Jerry LeBeer, and Mike Stoller and Jerry Wexler. That was a lot of names I just listed off. Holy freaking moly. In 1991, CBS News correspondent Bob Simon and 4 TV crew members are captured and held for 40 days by Iraqis during the Persian Gulf War. In 1994, The Hudsucker Proxy, directed by the Coen brothers, starring Tim Robbins and Paul Newman, premieres at the Sundance Film Festival. In 1995, 52nd Golden Globes, Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks, and Jessica Lange win. You won't believe how fast he ran, faster than Tom Cruise went cha-ching. In 1996, 53rd Golden Globes, Sense and Sensibility, Nicolas Cage and Sharon Stone win. And no, he did not yell about the bees in that movie. In 2001, 58th Golden Globes, Gladiator, Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts win. In 2020, revival of Charles Folger's stage drama A Soldier's Play, starring David Alan Grier and Blair Underwood, at the American Airlines Theater in New York City, runs suspended due to COVID-19 closures, wins 3 Tony Awards. And those are all the things and events that happened on this day for January the 21st. And as you hear the sirens right now, you know it's time for the main event of this very episode. We are about 33 minutes in. I think it's only fitting we get down to brass tacks right here. So 2025 has wrapped up. I'm actually going to put on my webcam for this because I want to do something a little bit different, because normally when I go over YouTube and my favorite stuff on YouTube, I usually go over YouTubers, the ones that vlog and do other things. Those are the ones that I consider YouTubers, but not actually like, well, you kind of get what I'm going with. I actually want to include all of them on this. So I decided to change it up a little bit. Instead of talking about YouTubers, I'm going to talk about YouTube channels. So I'm going to present a YouTube tab, and I will actually go over my top 10 list. So what I'm going to do is present share screen, and I'm going to make sure the audio tab is off for this so I don't get into copyright stuff. And I'm going to open up this tab I have here of YouTube. Now, as you see here, these are the people that I am subscribed to, and things like that. You know, you get the gist, you get the idea here. So I might as well just scroll, keep going, just for you to get a glimpse of what I watch. Now, I don't watch the news down here, but these are some of the channels and some of the videos that really cater to me. So I'll go as far as there. And what I'm going to do is rank off my top 10 favorite YouTube channels of all time. So I have honorable mentions for my favorite top 10 YouTube channels of 2025. I have anybody that's in the network. So you know who you are. Shout out to you. Passion of the Nerd, who goes over Buffy and Angel. He haven't done much this year, but it's very sporadic. Then we have Crazy Frank, who's most known for playing Crazy Taxi. And we got Watch Mojo, is an honorable mention. They do a lot of lists, top 10s, top 20s, top 100s of anything at all in music, film, television, you name it, they do it. And my last honorable mention is going to go out to Brett Cooper, who I've been following for a good, at least a couple of years now, and I want to give her a shout out as an honorable mention. So those are the honorable mentions I'm going to list off. But what I'm going to do for this, because I have a YouTube tab open, I'm actually going to go to the channels so you get to see the channel that I'm talking about. So coming in at number 10 is Tico and the Man. So we are actually going to go to their channel. So Tico and the Man, they are right there. They are a unique duet featuring guitarist Frank Mangalo and his feather lead singer Tico, who's a parrot, on freestyle vocals. So Tico doesn't actually sing words at all. He just does what he does. And these videos are pure happy. Tico's genuine expressions to the classics are guaranteed to put a smile on your face. And he has now one of the qualifiers you have to get on to be on this list is that you have to be active in 2025. And Tico and the Man has been very active. As you see here, you have videos from a day ago, 3 days ago, 6 days ago, 2 weeks ago. And Frank and Tico cover any song, you name it, they cover it. How were they discovered? Well, it was during COVID, and Frank was playing his acoustic guitar, and he was playing Stairway to Heaven. And he noticed that Tico was yelling, and so they got Tico in on the action. He was actually singing. And so that's how Tico and the Man was born. And that's pretty much what Tico and the Man is all about. Very easy, very laid back, and also very funny. Tico is a very funny pair because of the way he sings. Sometimes he gets that distorted sound that's really, really good, and he loves the ba ba ba's and things of that nature. So that's a little bit of a teaser of what Tico and the Man is all about. Coming in at my number 9 favorite channel, YouTube channel of 2025, is actually a tie between BF Live The Vibe, and I'll go over his channel first. So BF Live The Vibe is run by a guy by the name of Bobby Fran, and he does a show pretty much every day. He has one upcoming for tomorrow, but he was on earlier today for January the 5th. Now, as I'm recording this, it is January the 5th, so this will obviously be a little bit behind, but the type of live streams that he does is like a relaxed vibe where he talks about anything that's trendy, anything that is new and current, and he always checks in with the family life check-in and things of that nature. And he has a really good show. The way I would describe Bobby Fran, he's like an auctioneer. He speaks really fast, but he's really, really clear to what he says. That's pretty much the type of channel that he is. He goes live every day and does his thing every day, and it's really, really good. There's also a feature he does with someone by the name of Scott, with Scott's Hole, where Scott goes over his locales. That's always a bit of an hilarious thing too. So that's pretty much what Bobby Fran is all about. And tied with Bobby Fran at the number 9 spot on my list is a guy by the name of Andrew the Giant, but not Andre the Giant. I wonder if I could find his channel. Can I find his channel? No, it's not here. I might have to go on my big long list to see if I could find Andrew the Giant. There he is. I see him. So here's Andrew the Giant. He does a lot of live stuff too as well. Yes, and if you're wondering, he is a wrestling fan because he does play on the name Andre the Giant, but his name is Andrew the Giant. He does a lot of shorts, which are mainly questions of the day. Like, do you think you could drunk if you tried? What is the spiciest food you ever eaten? And what's your favorite junk food and things of that nature? Yeah, he is very, very active on YouTube. He's always active, constantly, which is a great qualifier to get on this list. So he was live a couple hours ago for about almost an hour. And he's mainly, like I said, a chill, nice, relaxed, easygoing kind of guy who just likes to do live streams with funs and hangouts type of stuff. Also tied with Andrew the Giant and BF Live the Vibe is No Filter with Andrew and Friends, and this is a very similar type of thing where it's a chillin' hangouts, and they do live shows. They do live shows every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and that's pretty much this channel in a nutshell right here. So that's pretty much all I need to know with No Filter and Andrew Friends. They have a lot of people on there. They get a lot of people on there, and some of them I do know as well. You have Bobby, Nick, you have Andrew, you got Jen, you got Stormy, Pecan, and everybody else. Scott sometimes shows up too as well. So that's pretty much everyone at the number 9 spot on this list. Coming in at number 8, Jeremy Johns. And you pretty much, if you don't know who Jeremy Johns is, you should know by now. He's one of the biggest movie reviewers in the YouTube stratosphere. And I would consider him one of the Mount Rushmore guys. He is one of the big reasons why I got into movie reviews in the first place. Let's look at his About section here, his More section. a show of movie reviews and comedy. If I make you laugh, then I've done my job. Subscribe and spread the word. So that's pretty much all you need to know when it comes to Jeremy Johns on this list. And like I said, you got to be active in the year to qualify, and he's been very, very active. He just came out with his top 10 best and worst movies of 2025. He likes Stranger Things. He went over his most anticipated movies for this year. He has a lot of movie reviews. He also does not necessarily trailer reactions, but trailer reviews as well. So that's pretty much all you need to know when it comes to one of my favorite movie reviewers of all time. And number 8 on this list, Jeremy Johns. And don't mind the clinging and clanging outside my door. Coming in at number 7 on my list is Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. So we're going to go to my number 7 favorite YouTube channel of 2025. And let's look at it for a brief moment. And let's look at its more section here first. Listeners, I invite more famous people than me to open up about their flaws, insecurities, and all those things that make us human. What started as Michael having some fun quickly evolved into something I've fallen in love with. What he discovered is that there are celebrities that he interviewed that aren't that different from you and me. They have the same insecurities and problems we all deal with every day. In a dark yet enlightening way, I find a lot of comfort, and he finds a lot of comfort in that. And he invites you all to join me while I get inside each of these fascinating people. Oh, and it said there, new episodes drop every Tuesday. So make sure you to subscribe to be the first to watch. And my favorite interview he's done last year is the one right here, where he interviewed Allison Mack, which to me is a groundbreaking interview if you haven't checked it out. If you don't know the whole story behind Allison Mack, you should know. And that's an interview that only Michael Rosenbaum could do. And I really like his interview with Ron Perlman recently, just a few weeks ago as well. I haven't checked out all of his interviews in 2025, but the ones I wanted to check out, I absolutely love them. Kristen Krug from Smallville, obviously. Kevin Pollak, John Barrowman, David Tennant, Laura Vandervoot, Daniel Pannenbreaker. That's one I did watch. That's really good. He's also interviewed Marina Barracan, Anson Mount, Tom Welling, obviously, from Smallville. Ming-Na Wen, as we know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Kat McNamara. Yeah, it's not just actors that he interviews, it's also directors. He did interview James Gunn one year, but I love the interview with Katie Cassidy there and Aaron Ashmore, Emily Beth Rickards from Arrow. So yeah, he interviewed a lot of not just actors from TV, but from movies as well. So go check out Michael Rosenbaum if you haven't yet. So that's my number 7 favorite YouTube channel of 2025. My number 6 favorite YouTube channel of 2025 is actually a band, and it's a cover band called First to 11. First to 11 does a lot of covers, and you name it, they have covered it. They are a cover band from Erie, Pennsylvania. They were founded in 2009. They take your favorite songs and put a fun extra twist on them with heavy guitar riffs, hard-hitting drums, fun melodies, and even mashing up different styles from different songs. The band has an extensive, constantly growing catalog of covers as well as major experience both live and in studio. They have tour tickets there. They have merch there, and Spotify as well. If you want to go check out their links, Let's take a look at what they have covered in 2025. Well, most of them anyway. That cover they done with Metallica, Master of Puppets. Excellent. That's one of the best ones. They covered Def Leppard, Creed, 3 Days Grace, all the Smash Mouth, Seal, Path to Nowhere, Van Halen, The Cure, Backstreet Boys, Fleetwood Mac. Again, you name it, they covered it. Shine Down, The Goo Goo Dolls, Guns N' Roses, Ghost, Ed Sheeran, Black Sabbath, Christina Aguilera, Gwen Stefani, TLC, Weezer, The Cure, Fall Out Boy, Sia, Maroon 5, The Cranberries. Again, you name it, they covered. There is not one band or a singer they would not cover. So here's a little bit of a look at what First to 11 is all about. Lady Gaga, obviously, Kiss, Lips of an Angel by Hinder, Motley Crue, Metric, Bruno Mars, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and then we get into the Christmas from last year. So that's First to 11, one of my favorite. Actually, I take that back. My favorite cover band on YouTube right now going today. My number 5 favorite YouTube channel of 2025, and it sucks that he's giving it up this year because I think he's one of the most underrated YouTubers in the YouTube verse. My favorite, my number 5, is it? Yeah, number 5 favorite YouTube channel of 2025 is OTR Central. He does a lot of wrestling stuff, from WWE to AEW to any other. Let's look. There's nothing really there in his description. It just says subscribe, but he covers a lot of wrestling. He talks about John Cena. He's not a big John Cena fan, I will say that. He's not a big Dino Bravo fan either. And there's always a good running gag with him with that. Hulk Hogan, at one point he liked him, but now he, because of the stuff that came out with him. And yes, that's one of his favorite videos I think he's done, remembering Hulk Hogan and his very complicated legacy. And he'll always rant on his show, like SummerSlam right there, WrestleMania 41. And is nothing sacred anymore to WWE? Nope, not at all. That's your answer. And he used to do Q&As as well. That was one of his big talking points. Was doing Q&As for people on Twitter. You ask his questions. I actually submitted questions to OTR Central in past years, but this is just sort of the stuff that he done last year. I wish The Rock would just pick a lane and run with it. That's a really, really good one. And Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu must main event in future WrestleMania. And WWE theme songs are so terrible now. I absolutely agree with that. They're slowly getting better, but there's still terrible ones out there. So that's pretty much what OTR Central is all about. He does all the wrestling stuff that you want to know. And he gives a harsh reality to everyone. He keeps it real. He talks real. He's really, really well spoken. He's really well thought out. He's one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time. And he's at number 5 on my YouTube channels of 2025. My number 4 favorite YouTube channel of all time is another person that covers wrestling. And that is Solo Monster. Sounds Off. Let's take a look at what Solo Monster is all about. And there's more section here. He is a weekly pro wrestling podcast who was founded in 2007, hosted by Jason Statham, a fan of wrestling for over 30 years. And the show covers the biggest stories in with a mix of news, analyzing, and listener Q&A. In 2016, Rolling Stone magazine recognized the Sound Off as one of its 18 best wrestling podcasts to follow, and I absolutely agree with that. And Solo Monster himself had the pleasure of interviewing Hall of Famers and legends, including John Cena, MJF, Bryan Danielson, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Mark Henry, Braun Strowman, just to name a few. And then it says down here, listen to full episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. You can all check out his podcast there. He drops a podcast every Sunday on those streams. But when it comes to his YouTube channel, he takes clips of those podcasts and he posts them up on YouTube. Like these ones from just a few hours ago about someone's retirement and the hard truth of Regal's warning to other wrestlers about injuries, head injuries. And he ranks the top 15 must-see wrestling matches of 2025. That's a really, really good audio to listen to if you want to get a 2025 recap. These are all his clips that he puts up from his podcast on Sunday and airs them later in later dates. But he also does live streams for Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and here's a look at what he does right here. He done a live New Year's countdown 2026 just a few days ago. This is according to January the 5th, but obviously you're watching this a few weeks ahead. Like I said, Raw reviews, SmackDown, AEW, and all that sorts of stuff. Saturday night's main event, John Cena's retirement match. So that's the Solo Monster in a nutshell. Again, really, really active in 2025, and I think he will remain active in years to come as well. My number 3 favorite YouTube channel of all time is someone who, as we speak, as I'm recording this, is probably still live right about now, but I will go to this person's channel. Now, this person I'm about to talk about as my number 4 favorite YouTube channel of 2000, well, actually number 3, I should say, of my favorite YouTube channels of 2025 was at one point the number 1 podcast in the world last year. The person since dropped down some spots, but this person is one of my favorites and one of my go-tos as well. This one will be a little bit controversial, but I'm willing to talk about this person. So let's go. My number 3 favorite YouTube channel of 2025 is Candace Owens. So what does Candace Owens talk about? Well, I think everyone knows that Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September the 10th of 2025, and she has been on the case. She has been on the case. She believes in the conspiracy that Charlie Kirk was killed, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't think a lot of people even know about. She's asking the questions. I think Candace Owens has the right kind of heart going into this sort of thing as she's doing her own investigation into his murder. And oh my God, like I said, controversial. Not everybody likes Candace Owens. Not everybody hates Candace Owens. There's no in between with Candace Owens. You either love her or you hate her. So, like I said, as you see here, a lot of live streams talking about the investigation. About does Team TPUSA, are they covering it up? And what's the deal with Farrakha? And what's the deal with French? What's the whole thing with the whole Egyptian planes? Oh, and yeah, she does have this view with Ben Shapiro. That's another thing altogether. Yeah, like I said, very, very controversial pick from my number 3 spot from my number 3 favorite YouTube channel of 2025. But like I said, she's my go-to. I think she says it. I think she keeps it real. Uh, I don't know if everything that comes from Candace is the truth or not. I don't know. But it is, she is worth the watch. And let me tell you, she is worth the watch. And there's, to me, my favorite Candace video that she came out with this year was this one. The one I'm pointing at right there. To my friend Charlie Kirk. And the funny thing is that when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the first person I thought of, it was Candace, because I knew that Candace was Charlie's friend. So that's what Candace has been doing for most of the, well, since it happened anyway. What Candace was doing before all this happened, well, we have here the whole Bridget Macron thing, Donald Trump, obviously. I think it was this year that Candace was going over the thing involving Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds' lawsuit. And what's her name? Ryan Reynolds' wife was involved. There it is there. Taylor Swift is now Team Baldoni. Here's why. Enough. Yeah, Blake Lively is her name. Yeah. So, and there was a little bit of Harvey Weinstein in there as well from this year as well. RFK, and the JFK files, obviously. So that's pretty much what Candace Owens has been doing all year. It was the whole Blake Lively stuff. And once that was pretty much null and void, she started focusing on what happened on September the 10th afterwards. So Candace is my number 3 favorite YouTube channel of 2025. The runner-up position as my number 2 favorite YouTube channel of 2025. There's only 2 left, and you pretty much narrowed it down. My number 2 favorite YouTube channel of 2025 goes to my favorite Canadian, Chris Van Vliet from Pickering, Ontario. Let's look at his more section here. It says Chris Van Vliet is a 4-time Emmy Award-winning TV host and content creator. Join CVV as he shares conversations with actors, athletes, professional wrestlers, and other entertainers. And he has interviewed a lot of wrestlers this year. That's what he's most known for. Now, by this point, he already interviewed Stone Cold Steve Austin. That interview would be up, not when this recording is, but when this episode airs. But in 2025, he has a really, really good year. He interviewed Todd Grisham there. And I think one of my favorite interviews of last year was Chris Van Vliet's interview right there from a few weeks ago with John Cena, Bryan Danielson, Chelsea Green, David Otunga. That was a really, really good interview as well. Mick Foley, he done a good interview with Mick Foley. The interview with Grayson Waller was funny because Grayson Waller was still kept playing a kayfabe, meaning he was taking shots at everybody. Oh, and the interview Chris done with Mickey James, that was so good. I almost wanted to say easy Chris and Mary because he was getting a little bit lovey-dovey with Mickey James. The one with Jelly Roll is excellent. It's an hour 47 minutes, but it's worth it. That is an interview I highly recommend. Really, a lot of Chris's interviews to me are highly recommendable. I really like the one with Theo Sky. That was really adorable. He interviewed Santi Zap, who's also another Canadian and a YouTuber as well. I think one of my favorite Chris Van Vliet interviews of 2025 is the one he did right here with referee Charles Robinson. That was excellent. That is also worth the watch as well. So interviewed Stephanie Becker, Shawn Michaels. That was an okay interview. The one with Dan Soder is really, really funny because Dan Soder does a really good Macho Man impression, and I highly recommend that if you want to get a good laugh. The only interview I don't recommend that Chris Van Vliet has conducted last year is this one with Jack Hager. I would not recommend that interview at all. Jack Hager felt like he was bitter and he was drinking. I would not watch that ever again. But any other interview that Chris has done last year, I would watch again. He did interview Maven. He actually interviewed Maven a few times. Like Kelly's pretty good. My favorite interview from Chris last year is the one with Roxanne Perez, obviously. Zilla 2 was a really, really good one. Selena Vega showed a lot of personality in her interview. Bianca Belair. I wish Bianca Belair would come back to wrestling, but we'll see. Once this episode is up, Steve Blackman. That's a rare interview as well. That's one I would highly recommend. He also interviewed Rhea Ripley, Ethan Page, Shotzi, James Storm, Cora Jade, Snitsky, Omar Santino, Mr. Kennedy, Lyra Valkyria, Joe Hendry. He interviewed Joe Hendry last year, and that was a really, really good interview. Like I said, a lot of these interviews are excellent. I highly recommend them. Lillian Garcia, he interviewed 9 months ago, is also one of my favorite interviews of 2025 as well. And another rare interview, he interviewed Scott Steiner, who does not do a lot of interviews. And Chris Van Vliet got to interview Scott Steiner. So that is a rarity, and that was really, really good. Will Sasso, obviously. AJ Styles was a really, really excellent one. So I'm just going to scroll down to see what he's done from last year. Rick Kaiser. And I do believe his interview with Penta was his first interview of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but it could be. Oh, yes, he did interview Seth Rollins, Jeff Hardy, and Matt Hardy in 2025. Those are really, really good interviews. I would highly recommend it. Kurt Angle is an excellent interview. When Chris interviews Kurt Angle, you know you're in for a real treat. So Chris Van Vliet is my number 2 favorite YouTuber of 2025, but there is only one YouTube channel that is my go-to for movies, trailer reactions, television, you name it. He talks about it, and he talks about it too much. My number 1 favorite YouTube channel of all of 2025 is Sean Chandler Talks About. Let's go to his channel. So, Sean Chandler, I've known him since, oh my God, I think this will be the 10th year I've actually known Sean Chandler because he commented on one of my reviews, which came out in 2016, damn near 10 years ago. So I know Sean for 10 years. So here's his about section here. My name, he loves to talk about movies way too much. And it says here he started the channel in the summer of 2016 to share his opinions on Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, horror, and more. Within 2.5 years, he turned his nerdy hobby of talking movies too much into a full-time career. So Sean does YouTube full-time. He actually gets money from YouTube. And now he is a Rotten Tomatoes certified critic and a member of the Hollywood Critics Association. If you're looking for movies, franchise rankings, and editorials on all the biggest movies of today, you want to subscribe to Sean Chandler. So here's what Sean Chandler did in 2025. He done the worst movies of 2025, the best movies of 2025. The ones up there are the ones he done this year. Most disappointing movies. He even reviewed Stranger Things, Volume 1s, 2, and the finale. He does trailer reactions like Avengers Doomsday, The Odyssey. He even does a director. He'll take a director and rank their movies. So he done right there James Cameron. But in years past, he done Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, and all that stuff. Avatar, Fire and Ash, obviously, big one. And every now and then he'll interview someone as well. Like in this case, he's interviewing someone in this video right there. And sometimes he'll take clips of something he's done maybe privately and then put them up. Like this one here. This is one of my favorites. The top 4 most iconic horror directors of all time. So he'll talk about that as well. Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. Like I said, Stranger Things. And he interviewed someone there, a couple of people there, for that has to do with a Kate Beckinsale movie. And he talked about Deadpool 3's shocking $533 million budget exposed. Oh my God, that's a lot of money. And he also take at the end of the month, he will rank the movies that he's seen for that month. So, for example, right here, every November 2025 movie ranked from really worst to best. And depending how many movies there is, he'll count them down to number 1. And here's an interesting video. Ian Win Championship Gaming Chair Review. So he's actually reviewing a gaming chair. That's a different video. That one will get views. It is a little bit niche, but I'm surprised it doesn't get a lot of views because it's very, very niche. But most of his most viewed videos are the ones that people talk about the most. So look at Stranger Things 5 Part 1, 51K views versus something like Zootopia 2, which has 14,000. I mean, you know when people are talking about something, when you get something out, you'll get the most views of it. So Sean really knows how to take advantage of the opportunity when the opportunity approaches. So he's my go-to guy for anything. Movies, film, television, you name it. Sean talks about it way too much. He is my favorite YouTube channel of 2025, and that it was the main event for this very episode. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And on a final note to all of you watching, get plenty of rest and always do your best.